Hi guys, my name's Kat and I write under the pen name Katie Reed. I had the flu for 2 weeks in February, so I did not keep up with my videos for February. But I did want to film a February wrap-up. Before I get too far into my February wrap-up, I wanted to point out a young bookstagrammer who went through some cyberbullying. You may have heard about him already. I will link his profile down below. I have gone to Instagram to follow him and to support young readers and young bookstagrammers and the younger community who want to join in on these conversations, because I think by supporting our young readers, our young writers, our younger generation, we are building the philosophers of the future, and I want nothing more than to provide support for these children who are developing a passion for reading, and I would invite you to do the same. I will link him down below, and here we go. And then I'm also going to be filming my March TBR. Ideally, March TBR will be posted on Friday. And I'm really excited for my March TBR video because I'm going to be declaring my TBR for the Royal Weekender, which is being hosted over at Royally Booked. Rachel is putting together this great big kind of like D&D via booktube, and I'm excited about it. I got really geeky about it whenever she put her video out, so I'll put her video about the Royal Weekender at the end of this video. And so enough rambling, let's get started on my February wrap-up. The first book that I want to talk about from my February TBR is Queen of Nothing, which we read over at the Hidden Worlds Book Club. I will try to remember to post a link to that below. My March TBR, I'm going to be announcing what we're reading in March. For February, we read Queen of Nothing, and I have to say that I was okay with how everything ended in this book. I'm not a Folk of the Air or Holly Black fangirl after reading this trilogy. I think that a lot of that just resides in the fact that I am burned out on young adult tropes and the young adult genre on the whole. So what I'm going to be trying to do for the next month or two is to gear my TBR more towards adult fantasy and some more nonfiction, just because I think my biggest frustrations with this book are simply founded in the fact that I am kind of over young adult as a genre right now. I just have fallen out of the mood for it, I think. But I was okay with how Jude's storyline got tied up. I was okay with like how Carden grew there at the end, and I think it was an okay light fantasy read. I think that if it had all been in one big book, I would have had less gripes about it, especially with how The Wicked King definitely ended on a cliffhanger, which was so annoying. But overall, I was okay with this. I think I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads when maybe I should have given it 4, but I haven't been paying a lot of attention to my Goodreads ratings lately. I should probably pay more attention to that, but we're not going to get in on a Goodreads ramble. We're going to move on to The 10,000 Doors of January by Alix Harrow, which I spent the first 150 pages trying to figure out whether or not I liked it, and then I spent the last few pages of the book really enjoying myself. I would call this a slow burn. I would call this very purple prose. I understand why people are so charmed by the love of words that is so intricately interwoven into this book. The cover is gorgeous, obviously. I think that Alix Harrow has a ton of potential as an author. I think this was a great debut. I think that I spent a lot of time waiting for the story to start, and then by the time I was really into the story, it was wrapping itself up. I did give it 5 stars because I did love the book. I just think that if you are a reader who is looking for something super punchy and action-packed, that this is going to be a little slower. But I did really love the book. I was thrilled to have read it. I was so happy to get through it, and I am ecstatic to have it on my bookshelf. So the next book that I had on my list for my February TBR, like I said at the beginning of the video, I got sick we had the flu again. We had flu A back in December, I think, and so we had flu B. No, it was flu A in January and then flu B in February, and neither one was fun. And I lost like 2 weeks of February just to illness. So this one I did not get started on, which I'm bummed about. And I think I'm just going to, it's a library book, so I'm going to send it back to the library and maybe pick it up again here in a month or two. Michelle, who is also over at the Hidden Worlds Book Club, is reading Skyward, so I'm kind of thinking maybe her and Lindsay and I can maybe read Starsight all together over the summer, maybe, after all 3 of us have read it, and then maybe I'll try to pick it up again, but this one is just not, it's just not working its way into my TBR. I'm not prioritizing it, so I'm going to send it back to the library so other people can check it out. And then I will get to it at some point this year. I am excited to read it. I just haven't had the time with illness and everything else. And I have other books that I want to move on to for the years. Next, on my February and my March TBR, is Elantris, which I've been going back and forth between the audiobook and the physical book because I have them checked out from the library alternately. And I love this. I think it's so fun. It's definitely been a slow build. I can accept that this is his first book, and I know that I've read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, so I know that he will deliver. I have faith in that. I have about 100 pages left to go, and I'm not really sure how he's going to tie up all these loose strings that he is dangling in front of us, but I have been really driven to continue to read about all the characters in this book. Serene is amazing. How she just schools all these old dudes who are used to being in charge is brilliant. She is a cliche princess without being a damsel in distress, which I love. I think Raoden is such a fabulous character. I have my hand to my heart. I hope that Raoden, hi Jezebel, go lay down. My dog is click-clacking all over the floor. I want a happy ending for Raoden and for Serene, and I want to know what happened to the city of Elantris, and I want to maybe come around to liking Hrathen at the end. I kind of had my fingers crossed for a big character turnaround with him, and it hasn't happened yet, so I don't have my fingers crossed for it anymore, but maybe I can gain something from his journey. So one of the things about this book, and I think that one of the things I'm going to find about a lot of Brandon Sanderson's adult fantasy is it seems like it's going to have a lot of basis in the different worlds' religions. And although I find the study of religions fascinating, I'm not a religious person myself. I don't think that's going to detract from the books for me at all, but I have been warned by a couple of other readers that sometimes the religion aspects of it really weigh down the book. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case, but I'm looking forward to getting through Elantris and then continuing on with Mistborn, with cosmerealong, which I will link down below in the comments. It's also a big read-along that's being orchestrated by Rachel over Royally Booked. So I think my last book that I had on my February TBR, as you can see, still has my bookmark in it, so I'm clearly not finished with it. But with this book, I decided not to rush it because I started it on the audiobook, And narration is just so brilliant. I cannot force myself to rush this book or to fly through it. Not because I don't want to. I am going through it pretty quickly. I just started it a few days ago, and I'm already 200 pages in. But I am purposefully not speed reading it. I'm not, like, I'm really absorbing every single word, and I'm listening to the narration at regular speed and reading along with the book because I just love how the narration has brought these characters to life for me. I am in love with these characters, except for Giselle. I don't like Giselle. I don't think anybody likes Giselle, though. I think in this book you're not supposed to like him. Glocta, I want to understand his story better. Logan, oh my gosh, he breaks my heart, and I want so many happy things for him by the end of this, and I don't know if I can count on that. Baez is my favorite, because when you have that much magic and that much sass packed into one character, I'm just going to fall in love. I am really impressed by this book. This was definitely a 5-star prediction for me, but I'm just so surprised by how much I like it. And I'm so excited to continue the series, but I am going to pace myself through it because I want to just savor this book. So that's my February wrap-up. I am up to 9 books for the year. I'm not worried about meeting my goal, which is 52 books for the year, which is about a book a week. I have some smaller books lined up that I have a lot of confidence that I'm going to be able to get through, so I'm not worried about my numbers. I am going to kind of maybe be shifting how I choose books, though. I would really like to start reading more nonfiction, so I think I'm going to start trying to get 1 nonfiction book in a month. I am going to be gearing more away from young adult. I think young adult is something that I'm going to start reading more exclusively with the Hidden Worlds Book Club, because that is what we specialize in as far as genre goes, and I'm okay with that. I just think my TBR has been so saturated with it that everything that I read through YA right now has been an eye roll. So moving away from YA, incorporating 1 nonfiction book a month, just kind of trying to chip away at some of these more foundational fantasy series that I think are going to be good for me to know about as a writer and to have read as an author. So I'm looking forward to kind of how this is shifting and how it's growing over time. And I hope that you guys enjoyed my wrap-up. Sorry it was kind of rambly, but I'm going to film my March TBR, and I'll see you there on Friday. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is awesome.